Hi everybody, Shelly, I'm back. I'm really excited. I was looking at my YouTube channel and I'm getting some subscribers, and so it's really exciting. If you guys like my video, please take a moment and subscribe down below. Hit the little button, it's gonna make me so happy. And it's gonna encourage me to want to do more of these videos because I'm in the interviewing process right now. I've interviewed for so many airlines. For some reason, there's so many openings right now. And we are, what are we now? December 2018. So if you're viewing this, just to give you a timeline, I started interviewing probably about 2 months ago, and things are moving really quickly with all of these airlines, and it's just crazy. I'll also put a link below of where I see who's opening up position-wise, and the flight attendant positions near me, or even like major large airlines that are not near me, but obviously will ask me to commute if I get hired. And so what I've learned is that you don't just put all of your eggs in one basket. Always make sure that you don't just apply with one airline, is what I'm trying to say. Because if you do that and then you wait a month or two and then you do interviews and it doesn't work out, and then you said to yourself, well, I really wanted this other airline and now they're closed and they're not going to open for another XYZ timeline. I mean, they could open next year, they could open in a month, you never know what they're needing. But you kind of want to, send out your applications everywhere. Some airlines take a long time, others don't. Others will get back to you like right away. It's like, oh, okay. And then you weigh your options as you get your CJO, which again means contingent job offer. So there's a lot of acronyms and stuff in this industry. I'm just getting to learn them as you join a lot of these Facebook groups, which I'm probably in every single one of them. You just kind of talk and chat with everybody else, and then you exchange tips and tricks and stuff, and so it's really fun. Sorry. And so, yeah, my advice to you is just apply to every airline that you want. Now, don't apply to the ones that you don't want and you're just applying for the hell of applying, because I believe that you don't want to, kind of mess up your chance to get an employment if ever you want that airline. You don't just want to like apply and then they ask you for an interview and then you do it and then they want to give you a face-to-face and you don't show up because, hey, that's not the airline you wanted. I think it kind of like will work against you in the long run, because what if you do move and you want that airline eventually? I don't know if they have some kind of track record of you, of your email, your name, your social, whatever it is, but you don't want that to work against you. So I always say apply if you really truly want that airline. Now there's something that I did maybe which I shouldn't have, but I have learned. I have applied to a lot of the little regionals, okay? I'm not a regional fan, but they are based out of my city. So it's very convenient, it's great. I'm just not a fan of small planes, I am sorry. I just have this thing with small planes, I'm not comfortable. And regionals, you either work by yourself on a plane or you work with two people, like two flight attendants. So I did it anyways for the, just to get me ready. I wanted to understand the interview process. It helped me a lot because it got me out there, got me talking in public. It initiated me and kind of pushed me forward to learn how to go about the interview process. I don't know if that makes any sense. So now that I'm with the major, that I've applied with the major airlines, it's given me such good experience that I am using that experience and I'm so much more confident now. If it wasn't for the regional that I've applied locally, maybe I wouldn't have gotten that experience. Now with this said, this video will be about which one to pick, regional or large company airline. What's the difference? The regional, well, let's start with the major airlines. You have Delta, United, Alaska, I know I'm missing one, American Airlines. All of these are huge airlines. They're independently owned. And now sometimes they can't do little trips, okay? So what they do is they'll hire a sub company and then they'll have them fly for them under their name. So let's say you are flying for Compass, for example, or Mesa Airline. You'll be flying, I believe, American, or like SkyWest. I know SkyWest flies for all four. So you'll fly Alaska, you'll fly United, you'll fly Delta. So your plane will say Delta, but it's really contracted, and it's contracted under those airlines, but it actually, it's SkyWest. So that kind of gives you an idea of what that means. Now the pay is sometimes a little lower. Actually, most of the time is lower than the major airlines, so that's a disadvantage. Now again, this is just from my research. I might not be specific or accurate. I mean, and if I'm not, please correct me. Feel free to comment below. I'm new at this, so. And another thing is, if you do get a regional, they are close by. I mean, if you apply to the ones that are close by, obviously. But so you do a couple of legs, and then you kind of do other legs and you come back more often than don't. And a lot of them don't do, it depends which ones. Some of them don't do international, some do, but you don't have to commute in most of them because they don't want you commuting. It is because the turnaround is quicker, I believe that you do not need to commute, and some of them you cannot. For example, Allegiant Air, they will not allow you to commute. You need to be residing where your base is, or else do not even apply. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now, I have a decision to make, okay? I'm a mom of 3 girls. Yes, my in-laws will be here. We'll be babysitting, which is gonna help tremendously. I also have my mom, who is from Canada, who will come down and babysit. So she'll do a couple of months because she can't stay in the United States more than, I think, 6 months out of the whole year. So she'll do a couple of months, fly back. And then I'll have my in-laws, which will be moving in, which will be helping with the kids. Now, my kids are homeschooled, so they have a program that they follow. So it's very easy. They don't need to be driven to and from school. So I've got everything planned out. Now, what do I pick? Well, my preference is, if it was up to me and I didn't have any kids and not a family and I'd live with my parents or I'd live by myself, I would definitely pick either Delta, United, or American, or Alaska. Because 1, they pay a lot more. 2, they fly just about everywhere. You can go internationally, you can go anywhere, and that's basically what I want. I don't just want to go to Hawaii, not Hawaii, but Ohio, or go to, I don't know, Utah and come back. That does not interest me. I like trips that requires long distance. I love flying. I love to take trips, long trips. I wouldn't mind traveling the world, or traveling to Mexico, or traveling to, you know, just anywhere outside of the US interests me. But the regionals do most often a little within the US, and I don't want to do that. So do I take a pay cut? Because most airlines that are regional will pay you between 15 and 17, if at that. And the per diem is not that high. And so, but I don't have to get a crash pad. I don't have to get a car. I don't have to buy food. I don't need you know what I mean? Like, I'm at home. I do my little trips and I come home, okay? Sometimes there might be like a layover, and then obviously, and then you come back the next day, but I'm saying I come home, and if I have to be on reserve, I am home. Now, with a major airline, you kind of, some of them, you're not gonna be based out of Phoenix, which is where I reside, but some of them aren't. Like American Airlines is based out of Phoenix, but it is senior. Meaning, by the time you get that senior base, it could take you up to 10 years. So that means I have to commute wherever they put me. So if they put me, let's say, I don't know, in Dallas or something, I have to move to Dallas, which I don't want to. And I don't think anybody really wants to move to Dallas. I mean, especially when you're established, when you have a family, a husband that has a steady job for the last 15 years. I can't afford to move, okay? Everything is here that I know, that I'm comfortable with, so I would have to commute. Now, commuting means you need to be organized, and you need to basically fly in the morning, get to your base, or flight the night before, find a crash pad because you're gonna be on reserve. So I'm gonna be in a crash pad, which The conditions aren't that good. If you do your research on crash pads, you'll see a lot of bunk beds, maybe up to 20 people living in that crash pad on bunk beds, people using your sheets, people not using your sheets, you're not getting good quality sleep. Yeah, okay. So you get the point. Then you gotta spend for a car because you gotta drive around. If you don't wanna do that, then you use transportation. That's costly. And then you gotta eat. So, and then you gotta make sure your crash pad has a stove, and that's if someone is not using it, and you gotta kind of wait in line. And all these things add up. But you're making a lot more money. But like, so you're making 15, 16 with a regional, and then you're making probably 25 to let's say 35 with a major airline. But you gotta commute, and you've got a lot of things to pay. So I'm kind of like right now in this dilemma. What do I do? Okay, so right now I've got some CGOs, which is job offers with the regional. Now my husband is telling me take those, one of them, and then that's gonna get you your feet in the door until you get hired by a major airline, and then you can make the switch. They usually prefer that you stay with at least a year to 2 years with the regional before you switch, which means I will be flying little tiny planes, not going internationally necessarily, maybe, it depends on which ones I pick, and small planes, which I don't want. Okay, so we got that. And then I'm not gonna be making a lot of money, especially the first year or two. You know, they say up to 5 years, you suffer. There's no money to be made up to 5 years. You can make a little bit, you know, to pay your credit cards and stuff, but not enough to maintain a lifestyle. Now, thankfully, my husband works, but we need 2 salaries to survive. You know, we have 3 kids, it's like very expensive. So I need a salary. I need to bring in a salary that's gonna help us out, not just pay the minimum stuff, you know? So I'm in this dilemma right now. So we had a long talk, literally for like 10 hours yesterday. We just kept on going back and forth. I messaged about 20 flight attendant, one from Delta, bless her heart, she was so patient just to write back and let me know, you know, the first 5 years is very hard, but then you start making really good money. So if you're willing to not be based out of Phoenix, but to travel and to commute and to sacrifice, but the money that you'll be making, your cash flow will be positive, okay? Eventually, not right away. Compared to your little regional, which have a lot of legs a day. You can do up to 8 legs a day, which apparently is a lot. I don't know, like I said, I'm not a flight attendant, I don't know. This is what I hear from people. So I kind of gather all my information. I've never done this, I'm just like you. I've looked at videos, I've tried to gather as much information as I could. So I have to make a decision. Now, what would you do? If you were in my position, would you stick around, would you stick to a regional, which is based out of here? And one of them, the training is here. The other one is, I think, in Salt Lake City. So you're away from your family for training for a month, or you're local here for a month, but you still can't come home anyway. So that's fine. The training, I get that. But then you leave and you come back and you're home and you do your reserve here. It's comfortable, but the pay is very minimum. Now, and these airlines, you know, are not always reviewed as the best airline. You know, they're not main airlines. Now, will they survive? Will they be still in business after a few years? You know, those are all, and do they have a safety record? You'll have to look at all that before you apply and before you get your CGO and whatnot. So I kind of went blindly with those. Again, it was practice, it was helpful, but then when you get hired, you're like, ooh, okay, I need to make a decision now. So I've got that, and now I am interviewing next week for all these major airlines. Now, if one of them hires me, I believe that only one of them is based out of Phoenix, which I will not get for 10 years, so I have to commute, and the other ones don't have a base in Phoenix, but they do have bases in Las Vegas and bases in LAX. Now, the cost of living in California is humongous. So crash pads out of there will not work. Las Vegas is affordable. It is, what, an hour away from here? 45 minutes plane ride? But I'm still an hour from the airport, so I would have to drive to the airport, fly to Las Vegas, stay in Las Vegas, be on a reserve in Las Vegas for a couple of days at a time, and then kind of come back. That's if I get Las Vegas. Now, I can put Las Vegas as my first choice, because obviously they don't have a base in Phoenix, and then get Denver. I have to fly to Denver or New York. I have to fly to New York, but I am making this much more. I still have to spend while I'm there, but I'm still making a little more, but it involves a lot more stress. So I want your opinion. What would you choose? Would you pick a regional or would you pick a major airline? Low pay, much higher, closer to home, commute, no expenses, a lot of expenses. More with the family, not too much, but your career will pick up and eventually make a lot more money with a secure airline. And you can fly your family everywhere and anywhere, and they can even come and meet me while I'm on reserve, wherever I'm at. So there's like, what would you do? So I wanted to bring that subject up. I like that I'm discussing this because we have been going back and forth, my husband and I, and obviously he's more of a 9-to-5 kind of guy. He likes security, and I knew he would pick the regional, anything that makes me come back home. I'm more adventurous, and I want to follow my heart, and my heart says, the big airlines, that's all I want, the big airlines, that's my dream. So, and I don't want to redo the training, because if I am going with the little regional, I would have to retrain with the big guys. I kind of want the big guys right away, so. But, wish me luck, please subscribe. It is a very important decision I have to make in the next couple of weeks. Because training is coming up for the regional, and actually next month, in February for both. And so I have my fingers crossed. I don't know what to choose yet.